When you hear the words King Jaja, what comes to your mind? A king, the kingdom of Opobo, or an Igbo man who turned a rivers man? Well, for myself and the rest of the people right here at Alexis Gallery in Victoria Island, Lagos, it's a lot more as Nigerian artist Ibim Cookey has breathed new life into the story of King Jaja of Opobo. With 11 works on display, he has told a story that is worth telling. Trust Roy for News Central. King Jaja, man. This is a story that's even personal to yourself. What do you think about the work Ibim Cookey has done?
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Like, in fact, I'm short of words because, like, I've known Ibim for a while, and from the very first time I saw him, like, I knew, like, oh my, this guy's onto something great, and I'm just very happy that he's been able to put together his first solo exhibition here in Lagos at Alexis Gallery.
11 works are on display right now. What are your thoughts about the intentionality behind the story generally?
I generally think that this story needs to go internationally. So Ibim's idea is that this will go to other countries. It's going to go to Berlin and move on to America because this is an international story. It's not just about King Jaja, the region here. It is the story which is very personal to Ibim as well. But this reflects things that are happening all over the world, and we need to remember our history and try to change things for the future.
Ibim Cookey has been a very hard-working person, and that is portrayed in what we can see today. You can see a lot of good artwork he has done, giving a representation of what happened during King Jaja's reign. And I must say that I'm excited, and I'm happy to be here to witness this.
It's amazing. Walking in here, it's just a shock at the depth of the story this entire exhibition tells, right? A lot of vivid colors, and what I see that every painting here has layers to it. The story, the more you look, the more you see, the more you understand, and it tells us that each one tells its own story of itself. So just looking at each one, each painting, it's an experience in itself.
Basically, I'm not a historian, neither am I from River State where he's from, but with the little I know, I came to understand that he's a warrior, an old-time warrior, and that was actually the first place I visited when I first came to River State, the palace of the King Jaja, and it's pretty much a beautiful historical place.
This particular symbol here is called the Manila 3 symbol. It was the currency used during King Jaja's time. This is King Jaja, and this image behind, this is how the compounds are labeled in Opobo from the 67 war canoe houses. These barrels here signify King Jaja's influence in the palm oil trade and the economy of Opobo at that time. This cannon signified the civil war between Opobo and Bonny when King Jaja tried to separate Opobo from Bonny. This fish signifies the fishing economy because when the British people, when they blocked the trade routes for Jaja to export his palm oil, he decided to engage in fishing, and then that was when the economy of fishing sort of like took off in Opobo. These ships were the locally made ships that they tried to mirror after the British people's ships when the British had issues with Jaja and stopped supplying him boats. And this is the traditional settlement of the Igbo people, which they adopted in Opobo because King Jaja was originally from Amibo in Imo State. And this had the hut, which is the Obi, and then the one for his wives and his children and other things. And this is what this painting is about totally. It's a summary of the show.
How are you, Sabo?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Okay, King Jaja, tell me about it. You curated this entire experience for us.
Yes, King Jaja by Ibim Cookey is probably the first time the story of King Jaja of Opobo has been given a visual treatment anywhere in Nigeria that we're aware of. So it's such an important part of our history, especially in relation to our past with British rule. It's a huge story, it's an entire life, it's an entire history. He's going to subdivide everything, the story, and then go into deeper parts of it. But this first attempt is to give a generalized idea using 11 paintings to tell the story, the great story of King Jaja of Opobo, and we can go into the relevance or significance of King Jaja in a minute.
As a Niger Delta myself, I can only but say that the 11 works that Ibim Cookey has put on display at his debut solo exhibition were just amazing. It just reinforces my thoughts that more Nigerian stories, more Southern Nigerian stories, more Niger Delta stories need to be told using visual mediums, be it film, music, or art, just like Ibim Cookey has done. Trust Roy, reporting for News Central.